Hi everyone, welcome to 3 Charts in 1 with me, Richard Perry, market analyst at Infonox on Friday the 19th of August. Now, 3 charts we've got today. We've got the dollar strengthening, so that's weighing on sterling dollar. It's also pulling the silver price lower, and risk appetite is looking a little bit tentative, and we've got a breakdown potential on the DAX. So let's get straight into it on this cable chart. Now, what we've seen is this dollar strengthening throughout the past week, and that's pulling cable lower. We can see this, and it's now broken decisively. Big, strong negative candle yesterday. Get the crosshair. You can see that breakdown of the support at 120 big figure. That was a big reaction low that we saw a couple of weeks ago, and that has now been broken, and that now opens the lows again, the July lows at 117.60. Next support 118.90 is a little higher low that has actually been touched today and then rebounded, so that's an interesting level of support. But you can see here momentum turning increasingly corrective. Let's go on to the 4-hour chart. We can see that this market is now turning negatively configured. Go up one more level. We can see here on the way up, 50 was a basis of support on the RSI on the 4-hour chart. Every time it got back towards 50, that was a buying opportunity level. As it peaked, we saw 50 turning into a level where the sellers came in. We can see here in this phase, a little bit of a spike higher, but then since then we've gone back into a negative phase, and once more 50 is the basis where the sellers come back in. So a little bit stretched over at the moment. We could see a little bit of a near-term technical rally, but what we've got is this overhead resistance now, 120 big figure. That is the level to watch out for as the market potentially just starts to unwind on that RSI back towards maybe 40, more likely on a bigger move 50, but between 40 and 50 selling opportunity. And I think that further pressure on that 118.70 level of support, and likely to be probably a test of 117.60 now, looking increasingly corrective on sterling dollar. Onto the silver chart, another chart being weighed down by this dollar strengthening in the past week. The strengthening dollar has a negative impact on precious metals, and we can see that that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4 completed candles on a negative basis, looking lower again today. And it's also again broken below this higher low, this support that came in at 1954. That's been broken. That's now turned the RSI negative as well, back below 50. And what we can see ultimately is the market, I think, continuing to move lower in a corrective phase. We've got this 4-hour chart here. Let's go back out one more level. We can see that the RSI is now sort of struggling around the 40 to 45 area on these sort of near-term technical rallies we've got. So selling into strength, I think, is the way to play silver. We've got this resistance now at 1954 up towards 1980. So that's a little sell zone here, I think, on silver. And we can see that anything back towards sort of 40 to 45 is a selling opportunity on that 4-hour RSI. But certainly, again, turning corrective, moving lower. We've got these sort of support area, I suppose, around 1885, 1890 area. So that's sort of initial target on silver. But certainly, it doesn't look great for anyone who's long of silver at the moment, and it looks as though it's turning lower, turning corrective, and there is more downside potential in that RSI on the daily chart. And finally on the DAX, again, just equity market starting to be weighed down, a little bit of profit taking potentially, certainly driven by overbought conditions on Wall Street, and that's sort of filtered through into the European markets as well. DAX is more of a risk on pro-cyclical market, so when the market turns risk negative, the DAX does get hit relatively harder than FTSE, say, for example. We can see here DAX breaking this uptrend. And also, if I go onto the 4-hour chart and just come out one more level, actually in the last few minutes, it's broken what essentially is this head and shoulders top pattern. It's completed a little corrective move. We can see that. I can put the neckline here. We can see that has actually now been broken on an hourly chart basis. And if you measure that, it sort of measures around about 270 ticks of downside potential from the breakdown point at 13,600. That gives you sort of ballpark territory of sort of 13,330 area. If I go up one more level, I can show you here 13,330 coincides with this support area that comes in here. So a retreat back towards this sort of area here, 13,300 is perfectly likely here. We've got the breakdown on that RSI on the 4-hour chart as well, turning corrective. So it is looking as though that DAX is just increasingly coming into a bit of a corrective phase. Lower high now, and coming back towards next support area, 13,450 on the DAX, but certainly with that lower high that we've got at 13,780, that starts to turn into certainly a key resistance level on a near-term basis. Would be aborting the pattern, but certainly looks corrective on the DAX. So I wish you good luck in your trading, everyone, and I'll speak to you soon. Thank you very much.